So I want to show you what the best CRM software is for your pressure washing and window cleaning business. This is from my experience and something I wish someone would have showed me when I very first started. So here we go. Let me just get right into it. Okay, so we are in Jobber right now. So this is the main dashboard. Once you've signed up to Jobber, you'll get something that looks like this. You'll go through a couple of different screens asking you about yourself that you will fill in. And once you've signed up, you will get something that looks like this. Now, I just want to show you basic functions. There's maybe 6 or 7 different things I'm going to talk about here. And I believe that once you've mastered these elements, you will be able to learn the rest of the software a lot easier going forward. So basically, a CRM is to capture information about your customers, and it becomes like a diary and a schedule and an invoicing and accounting tool all in one. So what you're going to need to learn is first how to capture the information from your clients or your customers, because it's a customer relationship manager. So you're going to want to know, one, how to create a client, then how to create a quote, then you're going to need to know how to convert a quote into a job, then you're going to want to know how to schedule a job. Then once you've completed the job, you're going to want to know how to invoice the client. And then once you've invoiced the client, how do you collect the payment and then record that payment as complete? And once you understand those areas of your business, which is information capture, job scheduling, and getting paid, I think you pretty much know most of what is needed to like manage the day-to-day part of your business. So let's get into it. So the first part of that equation is adding a client. If you've already got another CRM, you can upload loads of clients at the same time, but you just need to format the data in a different way. But if you're starting from scratch, this is what I would do. So, and the mistake that I made was choosing the right software from the start. If I just chose this from the start, it would have been a hell of a lot easier. So let's add a client. So when you want to add a client in Jobber, the first part is clicking on this button here, create. Now, the create part of the app is where you can create everything. You can create requests, which is somebody is making a request of you, the business owner, i.e. a customer is requesting something from you. So they might be requesting a quote. This is where you can also then create quotes, create jobs, create invoices. This is the creation part of the application. What we want to do is now we want to create a client. So this is going to be a customer of ours. So we're going to hit create client. So it does look like there's a lot of information here. It does look slightly different on your app, and it's a lot easier actually on your phone, to be honest. So what you're going to do is you're going to create the client. So for example, Mr. John Smith. If Mr. John Smith is actually a business owner and you're doing work for his company, you're going to want to put in his company name. And it gives you the option if you want to use his company name as the contact name inside your CRM, which is Jobber. So you can select use company name as the primary name, or you can just use it as John Smith. But typically, if you're dealing with residential clients, it's just going to be the customer's first and last name. You're then going to put in the contact details. If you can, always get a mobile number, an absolute minimum. Most people open texts emails a little bit less frequent. So you're going to put in the contact number. If you don't have the mobile number, you can hit add and you can put in home. Excuse me. You can put in home number. But once you start putting in a home number, you're going to want to toggle this button here, which says receives text messages, and you're just going to want to put it off. Then you're going to want to put in the email address. And the same thing again, you can put in multiple email addresses, a business address, an additional email address. So over time, if that customer is contacting you through different emails, you want to keep like updating those emails that you have on file for them. You've got this automated notifications function. This is a more detailed part of the application, but if you're a beginner, you don't really need to know about this right now. The main part for you to focus on is just adding a client, and we'll go from there. Just add a client, but this is a more advanced part of learning the CRM. Then you're going to want to put in their address. So this used to confuse me a lot. So the property details, this could be the address that you're cleaning. And then if you scroll down here, it says billing address is the same as the property address. Let's say you're working for an estate agent. The property address is not going to be the same as the billing address. For example, if you're working for a property agent, so let's call it Bairstow Eaves, the billing address is going to be different than the property address, because let's say you're working for a buy-to-let property, you're going to want to put this information in the property address, and then the billing address is going to be Bairstow Eaves estate agents. So you're going to want to keep them separate. And the benefit of having it like this is that for one estate agent, you could have 20 different addresses. And you'll be surprised as your business grows. You'll be surprised by the amount of people that also have like rental properties that they want you to clean and stuff like this. So you can have one client who has multiple addresses. So just remember that you have this function. But most of the time, people's billing address is the same as their property address. Once you're done, you're going to hit Save Client, and then they will appear in the Clients tab. So we've already got a sample client here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this first client, and then what we want to do is we want to send them a quote, because they want us to do some cleaning for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to send that client a quote for work that we would like to do for them. So we've gone out to the customer's address, we've looked at the property, we've measured up, we've priced it at, let's just do it right now. So we clicked on the client and we're on like a new page, and you can either click on more actions and create a quote, or you can click on overview, create a quote, or you can click on create here and a quote. So there's three options. There's not like one way of doing it. There's three different options to create a quote. So just for simplicity, I'm going to go here, quote. I'm going to find the client. And we're going to call this new home cleaning. And they want driveway cleaning. Products, description, block, paving cleaning. Put in the price, 500 quid. Great. And let's say they want their patio cleaning as well. price. Now we've got a total here. We've got everything here now. So we're about to get the quote, send the customer a quote. So we can actually rate the opportunity if we like. What do you think the likelihood of this person going ahead with the quote is? Over time, you'll get a feel for who you think's going to go move forward with the quote. But the more quotes that you give, it just becomes a percentage. But people do get a feel for customers as well. So when we scroll down to this part of the bill here, it gives you a subtotal. It allows you to add a discount. So if you're running a promotion, you're able to add a discount. So let's put in a 20% discount. Now it shows that there's VAT added. If you're not VAT registered, you can just hit that. And if you want to add it back on. Now, if you need a deposit for the job, let's say you're doing some driveway cleaning or sealing a driveway, you might want to put a deposit, 25% to cover the cost of the sealer. And once you're done, you're just going to double check the details, make sure everything looks good, and you're going to hit save, and you're going to go send us an email. And that's basically going to send this quote as an email to the customer. So quote from us, hit the quote. You can hit send me a copy. So that also sends you a copy of this quote that you've sent. Hit send. Now that's done. So you've just now added a client and sent them a quote. Now the next part of this is, if the customer didn't want to go ahead with the job on the day, you've basically got a quote that's open. So if we go into quotes here, you see how it shows like a waiting response. If you click on quotes, it even shows the status of the quote. So it shows a waiting response. So what you can do is now, over time, the more quotes that you send, you're going to get a list of quotes that appear, and they will show a waiting response. This is your job to follow up with the customers now, to like over time, oh, hi, Mr. Smith, just following up. I noticed that we sent a quote out to you yesterday. Just want to follow up, basically, see if we can do anything to move you forward. I would really like to get you on the schedule. And that's like a basic follow-up. You can do that by text, or you can do that by phone. Text is pretty good as well, to be honest with you. So let's say you follow up with the customer and they want to go ahead with the quote, and they've given you that verbal agreement that they want to go ahead with the quote. So what you'll do is you'll find their quote, go on more actions, you can approve the quote. It's done. So if I go back to quotes now, we've manually forced this quote as approved. A customer can approve their own quote, but you can also approve it for them. So if they've approved their quote, it will show you here in your list of quotes that somebody's approved a quote. Now that will be your signal to get in contact with that customer and get them booked. So what you're going to do is, you've got this approved quote and you're going to want to get it added as a job. So we've created a client, we've created a quote, we want to convert that quote into a job. So before we do that, we want to look at the schedule. Okay. So we're looking at our planner, and because it's nearly Christmas, let's get them a job on Christmas Day. So 25th of December. So we're going to go back to the quotes. We've got this approved quote. We're going to speak to the customer. We're going to then convert this quote into a job. using that button there. Now we've got a one-off job or recurring job. If you've got a regular window cleaning schedule, you can create recurring jobs by clicking on that tab there, and then you can do it in all sorts of schedules. The first Monday of the month, the third Monday, every other Tuesday, all this type of stuff. You can create a custom schedule and do all sorts of fancy stuff, like, yeah, loads of fancy stuff with the schedule. But if it's a one-off job, let's get them booked in for December. And it's going to end on December the 25th as well, up to 8 a.m. It's going to end at 4 o'clock. And then you can assign this to a team member. So if you've got multiple cleaning techs, cleaning technicians, you can assign different members. After you've done the job, you can select this button here, which is going to remind you to invoice the customer once you've done the job. You can select that or you can deselect it. Then you're going to go save and email booking confirmation. This is a really nice touch. So you're going to have agreed the date on the phone with the customer, and you're basically now getting it booked on the calendar, and then you're sending them a confirmation email with the specific time and the date. Send that email. So now you've got the job booked on the calendar, you've sent them a confirmation email, and inside the Jobber system, they're going to get reminded ahead of the cleaning as well. So they're going to get a reminder like, hey, we've got your cleaning scheduled next week. We'll see you soon. But that's another video. So now we've got create a client, create a quote, and then we've converted that quote into a job. Now, let's say we're going to go and do the job. So let's go to the schedule. Okay, so we've got this job here on the 25th. Now let's mark this job as complete. So as you can see here, you can hit complete, or you can hit view details and mark as complete. But when you're in the actual Jobber app on your phone, it's a lot more clearer than all this. It's like a lot more intuitive. So let's just hit mark complete. Now it's going to ask you, what do you want to do? Do you want to schedule another visit, like you haven't completed the job? Leave as action required. You're not sure what you need to do with it yet. Or do you want to close the job because it's like done? So close. Okay, so it's done. Now the job is showing that there's action required. It requires invoicing. So here it shows that you can generate an invoice for the client. So there's more actions here. You can do all sorts of different stuff. You can reopen the job and add new line items, but for the purpose of this video interview, generate an invoice. You can add another line item here if you want. Patios and furniture, cleaning. Just add another item in here. You did some more work at the property when you were there with the customer. For an extra $250. Wow, that's quite a bit. So yeah, there's that. So what you're going to do is you're then going to go save and send as email, or send as text, or collect the payment. So my recommendation is at this point, if you've done the job on the day and you're able to get paid there and then on the day, collect the payment. Don't just send the customer the invoice and then, uh, you know, rely on always the customer paying you. What you'll find is over time, some people are good at paying, some people aren't as good at paying. So you want to find the customers that are good at paying, but you're only going to learn this over time. So my recommendation, bring one of these out with you everywhere. Bring a card reader, like make it really easy for your customers. Like they do contactless, they can do Apple Pay, they can do everything. So make it convenient. Get yourself a Zettel card reader or Stripe or Square, whatever payment, whatever can get you paid basically. And when you've closed the job, you want to basically collect the payment there and then on the day. But if you can't, and it's a customer you already know and you've done business with before, you're going to go send us email. Hit this. So you can attach, just by clicking here, the invoice to the job. Send yourself a copy. Send email. Done. So what you've done is you have sent that customer an invoice for the work. So an invoice means you still need to get paid. You haven't been paid yet. So if we just click on invoices, you've got a job here that's awaiting payment. These are jobs where you've not been paid yet. So just like you had quotes, you had awaiting response, then you've got approved. With your invoices, you've got awaiting payment and paid. Ideally, you want to get them paid. So that's why my recommendation is to always have one of these and either get paid cash, check, or a card on the day. It's worth the fee, to be honest, just to get paid and then not have to deal with as much admin. Because although you can automate things, you can't automate everything. So let's say you've got a customer and then they're going to pay you. So you found their outstanding invoice, you hit collect payment, cash, money order, bank transfer, other. And what I like to put in here is Zettel to show that I've been paid by this. Once it's been paid, I'm going to hit save and email receipt. And then it's going to email them their receipt, proof of payment. And that is basically the whole thing. So master these functions and you've basically got everything you need to like start keeping a database of your customers. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. Even when you're very first starting out, depends on whatever your financial situation is. Jobber starts at it's like around $50 a month, or up to maybe 60, depending on how you pay for it. You get if you sign up using the link below, I think you get 2 months for free. So you get your first, you get 2 months free, I believe. So it's worth it to try it out. Another way that I like to look at it with these different softwares and everything is that eventually you're going to need to learn about these types of things anyway. So as soon as you start paying for them, you're kind of forced to learn how to do this stuff. And in my personal opinion, it's like you kind of have to learn these things as time goes on. But yeah, go out there, make sure you capture all of your customers' information, because once they've bought from you and interacted with you, there's a real high likelihood that they'll buy from you again, as long as you do a good job. So yeah, there we go. That's Jobber. I believe this is the best CRM software. If you need any soft washing or pressure washing help, or questions, just put them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. Hope you found that useful. Speak to you soon. Bye.